it's really awesome. That place is so cool. I mean, it's incredible.
The 10U kids and what are all doing 2 times.
Right. We actually, he did the treadmill with Jackson and Tatum Geertz.
Okay. Good.
So, Susie was telling me how much it's made a difference. It's really cool.
All right, so ice hockey systems training. So icehockeysystems.com, and in the upper right hand corner you can click the login button. If you do not have an account and need access, you can contact me, Russell R. And I will determine if I can get you an account and then create one for you. So after you have your account, click login. That brings you to the dashboard page. So from your dashboard, you can see all of the drills that you've created. So if you see here, I have 74 drills I've created, 39 practice plans I've created, 0 systems and 0 game plans. So when you come into the dashboard to view your drills, click on the number of drills, and then you'll see your entire list. And these are specifically drills that you have created. So as we create drills, we'll get to that later. There's a share with association button down here. So we'll all want to click that when we create a drill or a practice plan, and we can share it. And then now if I come to association drills, these are some drills that Coach Brian Clark has created and then shared. Here you may not have the remove from association, but once we share them, then they're available to all of our coaches in our system under association drills. So if you favorite or save a drill, it also it shows up under your saved drills. These are just a few that I looked at earlier.
Well, meaning like from the collective that's already on the website?
This can be any drill. This can be a saved drill that they have, or one that we created. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you ever, it's almost like going down the YouTube rabbit hole. You can get lost in here easily. So if you ever get like where you're not sure, you just click on the dashboard button in the upper left again, and that takes you back to your dashboard. And then, so we'll go into the practices quick. Same thing, it loads initially with the practice plans you've created under your account, and then you can also see association practices. So Brian Clark has some practices ready to go for future practices that he shared already. So
That's cool.
yeah, so I should probably come back to this, but so just to explain, so this is a practice planning system that I would love all coaches to use this year. It's going to give us a repository of practices and drills. This year is going to be the legwork year, right? Once we put all of our information in here, like next year, if somebody else is running a team as a head coach or an assistant coach, they can come in and just say, all right, second week of October, Squirt C ran this. I'm going to just grab it. Or I like the 4-3 drills. I don't like one. I can replace it, but it makes it all available. You don't have to keep recreating the wheel.
And then the expectations are set from you know what I mean?
Right.
You can see what they were specializing in, what they practiced.
Yep. And if the practice plans work up for the first 2 months, and then your team really needs to work on passing, you can veer off, but it should save us all time in the end, all the coaches. And then the nice thing is, so like the big thing Troy we're talking about is we all need to be prepared. We need to get this ready and share it with our assistant coaches so that we can all be prepared for practice. And also, say Mark's the head coach, you might send me the practice plan, and I either have questions or I can have time to think about my talking points to the kids. So if we're working on passing, I want to talk about soft hands, I want to talk about catching a pass and making a pass, you know, so it gives the coaches the opportunity to be prepared and think ahead of time about what we're gonna do, and in the end result, it results in better practice, so. Head coach obligations, each head coach, is required to create a practice plan in IHS and share it with the team staff before each practice. This will ensure all the coaching staff has knowledge of the upcoming practice and can prepare and run the practice ahead of time. Recommendation is to create a practice plan and share it within 24 hours. I know we're all volunteers and we're all busy, so, you know, it's not like you're gonna get punished or yelled at. I'm here to support you all. And, but if we can try and make that our best practice, it's gonna make our team better in the end anyway, so. And then again, that allows the assistants time to digest, asking the questions, whatnot. The why behind the drill, is really critical. I don't think, you know, me as a younger coach, when I think back, I didn't talk about the why behind the drill at all, so I think it gives us a good opportunity to document that and put it in there too, so. So coaching hierarchy, if we have, at the 10U level, if we have a squirt A, squirt B, or peewees, or bands for that matter, on the ice at the same time, the head coach of the highest level, so if it's a AB, the A coach should reach out to the B coach and say, hey, do you wanna run a combined practice, or do you have your own plan, or do you wanna run together for 40 minutes and break off, you know, and then plan accordingly, so. I know last year, we didn't really say anything to any of the coaches, and I think that was a struggle we had, so. If the head coach is taking leadership in that, is gonna make for better practices too. So, I think we'll get into a pretty good rhythm, I think, as we go, you know, it's all new, so we're gonna have stumbling blocks and we'll work through them, so. So as far as using it, come back to the login screen here. Like again, I talked about, if you need access, let me know. So the dashboard, kind of got to that, and then my drills, association drills, you do that. This document I shared with all the coaches in the MOHA email as well, the coaches email. So if you can't access it, let me know. So your practice plans, similar there, so we can go back and just do a quick recap on that. So
Must remind me, are associate coaches able to access this too?
assistants.
Yeah.
So that's a good question, Mark. So the guy that created this is out of Minnesota, down by Rochester. So I've had actual emails back and forth. And me being a software person, I'm not a huge fan of violating license agreements. So he actually suggested we share usernames and passwords, and I said, well, I would prefer that we actually just follow the guidelines. And so we have 20 accounts, which is a 10-team account. And if it gets to that point, I mean, Nils gave us permission to do it, so we can, but I would prefer we all have our own login.
Can't we print these to PDF and share it with our?
We can, yes, yeah.
You can probably email them.
Yeah.
too.
Right, that's what I
Yes,
mean.
and we'll get to that part,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah, but I think, you know, if somebody does wanna, if we have assistant coaches that wanna come in here and help and have ideas, I think we should,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think we all should have access to it, so. We'll use what we have now. If we find need for more or less, we'll adjust accordingly, but, you know, I think this year, he explicitly gave me permission to share. But I wanna be fair to him too, so.
Sure.
Let's see, so drills, practices, I think, so we kinda went through that. We'll just click one more time here. So drills, association drills. Getting back, dashboard. And then practices, mine, from association, so. So, in my past life, I worked for a document imaging company, and naming conventions make or break a repository. It makes or breaks the usability of and finding and retrieving so this is what I have so far, and this is definitely open. We can definitely modify this if we come to, you guys get in and start using it and have ideas. Let's bring them up. But for now, I think so. Your team name, which then comes directly down here. This is just to shorten it up instead of using Squirt, Pee Wee, Bam, or Mike for Learn to Skate. And actually, I'll add that.
This isn't important, but IHS, right, isn't it?
Yep.
At the top in that first sentence, under creating drills.
Yep. His. Good call.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we'll start with our team names, which is here, and then your drill name. Whether it's like home dangle or shooter tutor or whatever your skill you're working on, and then teaching method comes down, and so this is Troy Ward's acronyms. Is that what they're?
Yeah, breakout.
Yep.
Which is
And then down below I have these listed here. And I think it's critical, and so I would have loved to have been able to tag in IHS. So for instance, if I come into a drill and if I come in here, like there's categories, I would love to be able to add my own categories.
Right, so you
but-
can put in the BO.
Yeah, but we don't have that, so I think we'll put them in the name for now. And then you can also come in and use these categories, and then we'll add them to the categories that they're shown, and we'll get to those later. So, so we'll start there, and so an example of this, 10U C, which would be our Squirt C, and then the drill name is Simple Breakout, and the Troy Ward teaching method would be BO. So, and there'll be things in there that get messed up. We can clean them up and move along. And like I said, if there's suggestions once you get in here, let's talk about what's working and what's not working. So I think it's definitely open for improvement. So yeah. So down here then we have all the Troy stuff. So pretty straightforward on that. So editing or modifying a drill, once you create a drill, we'll come back to the dashboard, my drills. So one thing to ask is, if you did not create the drill, please don't directly modify someone else's drill. There's a duplicate button in there that we can go through. So if you need to come in and edit your drill that you've created, you'll click the edit button on the right. And then this is your drill drawing. We'll go through that in more detail in a bit. And then drill description. We can, if we have instances where we can actually take video of like a stout player doing this drill, we have the opportunity to add our own video or a YouTube link, and then images or a PDF as well, and then down to the categories. So, and then you can save the drill, and then if you do want to get rid of a drill, you have to click the edit button, and then come in and delete it from here. You don't have a direct delete button on that other menu. So. So from here, you cannot delete. You have to click edit and then the delete button at the bottom. So, if this is an association drill, right? So I'm going by association drill, and so this is a drill that Brian shared. Okay, so to be able to edit or duplicate the drill first, I had to click the button that said, yeah, save to library.
And then it saves it to your library?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so before I click that, I'm not able to duplicate it.
Got it.
So if we want to duplicate it, we have to save it to our library,
Okay.
and then it will show up in the My Drills as clone of, and then his drill. So once we come in and save it to our library, then we're gonna wanna come back in and then this is what we have for now. So current drill name, so, and then dash age level mod. So if I were to change this, I would wanna come in here, click duplicate. So this is clone, but. So 14U edge stride, 10U mod. And then I can come in and,
Make it shorter.
yeah, say I wanna make it shorter because it's too much for the small kids, so I can come in here and make that modification and then click save. So that just protects us from, because, Brian may have this drill in his practice plan, and if I change it, then,
Great.
then that doesn't work well.
So you
for him.
save it to your own and
Yep.
then
Yep.
show that you modified it.
Yep. So, and I think actually we can take a step out of there, so I'll do that one more time, because, so now, this is the original. When I clicked save to my library, this is what I got. So I think instead of actually doing that duplicate, we can just come right in here.
Got it.
Yeah, and then Montana. So I'll add that. I will add that process to the couple doc. So any feedback or questions on the naming convention stuff? It may take some time to get in there before you have thoughts on it, but anything now? Alright, now we get to the good stuff. They skipped creating a drill. Yep, so I'll just jump back up here, we'll actually come back in and create a drill. So, multiple ways you can create a drill. You can go right below on your dashboard, the drills, or you can use the create menu. Oh. So I'm gonna create a little passing and shooting drill, and I just need to figure out which.
IZO, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we can use that. And then, so creating your drill, you have multiple layouts for your rink. Your rink section, I should say, I suppose. So you can have all of these different variations. Neutral zone work, small rink, and this one here for goaltenders. So I'm gonna take this one for now. So I think we'll just go through this menu here. So skate freehand, I can draw a line any way I want and just follow it with my mouse. Skate with a stop, same thing. You can do anything. And the double line, just denotes the stop. Straight line skating, this, no matter where I move my mouse, the line stays straight. And then same with, what's that one called here? Skate with stop straight. So, how you add these lines is left click and then dragging the cursor, I guess we'll call it, wherever you want. So that's the skating lines there. And to delete things, you click the garbage can and then select the item and then delete. So different variations of skate. I don't know that I'll add them to it, but so we have skate with puck. It's skate with puck and stop. Skate backwards with puck and stop. Skate backwards with puck. Skate backwards without puck and stop. And skate backwards without puck. And I think the more we use this, the more familiar that we'll just look at these and we're just gonna know, okay, I'm going backwards here. So the dash line with the arrow is pass, and then the double line arrow is shoot, and lateral skating with a stop. Here we have our puck options. If you click the group, you can put a group of pucks anywhere, or if you just want an individual puck, you choose but one. And then these are just items that we may use in practice: cones, tires, a stick handling tool, triangle, and I consider these to be like our black bumpers, border, horizontal, border, vertical. Then we can add nets wherever we would like, or you have the option then to go cross ice if that's part of your plan. And then here are our different players. So we have the forwards, the defenseman, and then this is just the more general. Forward, defenseman, opponent, player type 1, player type 2, player type, and then some more specific but more general, center, left wing, right wing, lefty, righty, goalie, and coach. Numbers I don't use a whole lot, but we may find a great place for them. We can also add a text box if we choose. And then, so there's our text box, and then we can,
That'll be nice, actually, when
Yep.
we, for like nights where we have like, 5 stations.
Yep.
We can stick station A, station B, station
Yep.
C.
and then, so the move tool down here, the standard, I guess, 4 arrows, allows you to click on something and drag and drop it anywhere on the screen. And then the rotate scale.
Would that work on your font too there when you wrote test?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so there is a limit, yep, so you click and then it goes back to small. So,
Very cool.
this one right here from the top, line width. So I'm guessing that just increases and decreases our straight skate and other lines. Yep. Undo, redo, and then here again with our delete button, if you need to get rid of something, select the garbage can, and you can clear your screen. So I'll walk through real quick and just make this simple drill. So we're just gonna have all the group of kids in the corner, group of pucks, skate out around the cone. The other player's gonna pass. So do you need puck. Shoot. And shoot, so, may not be the best drawing example, but I think it makes the point of the tools we have available. And so, any questions on that one?
Mhm.
So once we get our drawing done, we wanna come down and, give as much detail as possible. And those players will start in the corner. Our skater skates out without a puck, you know, I won't type it all out, but the more detail we provide, the more reusable the drill is. You know, we may have what the drill is in our head, but if we don't put that in there, the reusability kind of goes away. So, the more detail we give, the better off the reusability, and I think it'll help the other coaches understand it. What our point was. So, and then we can come down and click our categories here. Shooting's in here somewhere, so we've got passing involved here.
Down and shoot it.
And shooting, you know, if anything else applies, we can do that as well. And then, since I created this for, and named it with 10U, let's click that, the HLO tag. And then that can be changed, and if we modify it for another, say we wanted to then come back and modify it at another pass or another cone or something, you know, then we can change the age level if that's what we're modifying for. So, once I click save, we then see our created drill with our details here. So, we'll just start here. So, I do have folders created, but I don't, I didn't put that in the documentation because I'm not quite sure yet. So I'm not gonna add it to the 10U folder. But I don't really know that it still doesn't move it out of my drills, right? So it doesn't really organize it per se that way, so I don't know what the benefit is of it yet. So I'll do some work on that. So then here we can just click other options on if we want to tag it more, we can save it to our favorites, in any of these other options, and then it just helps for finding it later on. We can recommend it to coaches if we'd like, and then so these are all the practice plans that I have created, and you can add it to your practice plan. I don't normally do it this way, but it's an option we can do. And then we can come in and do comment too. So the key now with this, once I have this created with this, the drill, is that I want to click share with association. So now if you guys come in to your IHS and then go to your dashboard and my drills and click on association drills, you should see this drill and it will be available for you to put in the practice plan. So we'll go back now quick. Get back to the sheet here. We'll come in and this is, I mean, creating the drills is powerful, but this is the powerful part to me. So, sorry, dashboard. So creating a practice plan, again, multiple ways to do that. You can come down here, create practice, or you can go to the create menu, practice plan. So as far as practice plans go, I think I left that part out of the document too. Oh, no, I didn't. New team here. Mustangs, 19U. Mark, you playing? I'm in.
What are you clicking on to bring those screens up?
to bring,
That's just that training sheet that he sent.
yeah, this is the link in that email.
Okay,
Yeah, so this is a Word doc, and I'll re-upload it.
okay.
I'll make the changes on Google Drive. I'll grab those. Alright, so, again here, team name and practice plan date. That worked for me, but I was the only one really using it 2 years ago, so, if we run into anything, we can definitely talk about modifying what we're doing here, so. But we can start with team name, dash, and I don't think we can put slashes in the name, we have to use dashes. So, start with that, and then we'll move forward as a team and decide if we need to change anything there, so. Pretty straightforward in this naming convention, team name, practice date. So, come in here, 10U, I'm just a squirt C guy. So, 10UC, we'll make one for Monday, which is what, 10/17? And then, so you name it there for your practice date, then you're also gonna wanna come down to the date, and then select the correct date. Not a huge deal if you forget to do that, but, this shows up when you dump the PDF and then share it with the team or share the link, so. So I think here, what I've normally done in the past is, just kind of a breakdown, hey, we'll have a 5-minute warm up, get the kids ready, and then talk about the drills, and if you have a coach that, has greater knowledge or is just a better coach at, for instance, a defense drill or a passing drill, or, I had like Jake Miller and Jake Halverson, and like Jake was a defense guy, Halverson was a forward at Stout, and so I would say, Halvey, this is more of a forward skill drill, you got this, and Miller, you got this, and then just give details and the talking points and then the teaching points that you're looking to get across, for each drill. So, and you may circle back to these practice notes after you've had your drills. So because down here then, when we click, this is kind of nice here, so we can go, it has the IntelliSense or type ahead. So if you type in your 10U, this is where,
Kind of searches your library, basically?
yeah.
Okay.
So, so I'll just grab a few drills here. So we set our length of time, knowing, if I'm gonna do a 5-minute warm up, and usually you have a couple minutes in between getting ready, so, 15 or, you'll figure out your timing there. If it's a station, we can put our station number in here. And then if you have more detail than what you're putting up top in the practice plan notes, you can also add additional coaches notes here, on the drill.
Maybe that's where you say,
Teaching points.
Mark, do this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Nicole, do this one.
And then, so if you add a drill by accident, you can remove it with this button. To add another drill to your practice, you click that, and then it adds that same interface underneath to add your next drill.
So Russ, can you bring one in from the website, show us how that looks?
Yeah. Let me. So that's actually, I think I'll take a sidebar quick, on the practice plan. So IHS does have, so if we look here, they have 507 Bantam drills, 490 midget drills, Pee-wee, on down. And these may actually be the same drill, but for the Bantam category, there's 507 in the system that are geared toward them. Passing drills, 277. So how I got here was by clicking just on the hockey drills. So we can come in here and click any of these, and then these are all pre-created drills from, specific, what do they call them, content creators. And they have in here, let's see, somewhere, they, like, I think on their blog and then maybe about, they talk about who their contributors are and then just about where, you know, not, I don't think they let just anybody, I think the guys that are contributing stuff, know the game. So, but we can come in here and look at any of these drills, and all these drills are available to be added to our practices too, so. So we'll just take the first one, corner to half wall 2v1. So then.
So you just have to look up the name essentially and start typing it?
Yep.
Okay,
Cool.
that works.
Something so simple is so neat.
Yeah.
This is so neat.
Okay, cool.
And the nice thing with their drills, now if we go into this, almost every one of their drills has a video,
Oh,
which is great, right? So we can click on this, and this is great for the coaches answering the questions and really getting an idea of how to run it.
hopefully our kids can catch the puck I had.
So, and then, so when we look at their created drills, it's the same template that we would use, they just, they actually, I mean, they're filling out all of the, areas, so theirs come with coaching points, and then they also have progression suggestions, and then some links down below, so, but I think these are, you know, the coaching points are huge, because I think Troy talked a lot this year about us putting the why behind the drill, and that's critical for us to get these kids to understand it, so.
And Russ, like you said, there's a video here, and I know there's, you know, the ability to link other videos to drills that you might bring in from other places.
Yep.
What, like, obviously we have some internet access in the building, like, so if you had something that you thought was maybe a little complex and you wanted to show the kids in the room,
Yeah.
you could do that. But what about like the coaches and stuff, like you said, with sharing and stuff? I mean, is it something they'll be able to see, or how
Absolutely,
would
yeah,
that work?
yep, if this,
So if I
so,
send out a plan, are they gonna have to
Yep.
click on their link, or how that works?
yep, so we'll go through that in a second here, we'll create this plan, and then we can go through the options
Sure.
and how it comes out. So the one option is right in here. Maybe that's, we'll go to the practice plan and not that. So we can create a direct link, we can share a direct link to stuff in here, or we can download it as a PDF. Obviously, if we make the PDF, the video is null and void, right?
Right. But I was just thinking, you were talking about accessibility to coaches and stuff.
Yep.
I didn't know if there was,
Yep.
like, they could see it still, or if there's a way you can include it in
Yeah.
an email or something.
Yep, so let's go over those options in a second here, and we'll see how we do actually do that with the direct link. So I'll just add these two drills right now, you know, I'm not gonna put coach's notes in here. You know, that's for us to sit down, and then the practice notes up here again, you know, the more detail we put in here, the better off our practice is gonna be. So once you have your practice plan completed, so these, adding systems, adding off-ice exercises and video, I have not done a lot with it. If you find a use for it, I think, you know, it's great, and you can share it with the group. And then you can also set your practice plan. So you know, this isn't critical either, but you can do this if you choose. Click, it makes finding it later, easier. So click and save then, generates our practice plan. Now, the multiple ways that we can do this, right? So we do want to click share with association. That doesn't necessarily send it out to anybody. That makes it available when they go to my practices. It makes it available under the association practices if you were not the practice plan creator. So copy and share URL. This one, Mark, gets to your point.
Yep.
So if I do this, and then, come in here, and then send an, email, and I can click this. There's Mills. So now when you guys get that, even if I go to my sent and click on this, this is where,
It shows up,
yeah,
and it's got the video, awesome, okay.
yep,
So even if the other coaches aren't on it, we can send it to them and they still have
Yeah.
access to the video and the practice plan,
Yep.
and it's not like they hold that back or anything.
yep,
So,
yep.
Oh, that's so cool.
Alright, get too many tabs open here. Alright, so,
I'm worried. Oh, God.
so we've created our practice plan, we've shared it with the association. To, like, again, just to reinforce that, that makes it available to all the coaches that have a login. And then sharing with coaches, if you do have the live video in there, then sharing the URL is the best. I think we all have our phones on the ice, so, you know, and if, for instance, if we have a tablet or something, we wanna show them, you know, I think that that's a great point, because all these kids usually have a tablet at
Yeah.
some point, or something in their hand, and they really, I think, are accustomed to learning that right now. Yeah, so if we can do that for them, I think it just reinforces their learning. So, the other option that we can do here is if I were to click print and download, this is where you generate your PDF. And you have three options. This is the lengthy option, so if you do one drill per page, you know, if you've got your coach's notes and stuff, that's usually gonna be page one, and then 3 drills, so that's kind of bulky. I usually try to use the drill grid, but you use whatever you're comfortable with, and then, and whatever you and your coaches like the best. It says no bearing on a repository or anything, this is just the view that you wanna use. If you do enter practice notes here, this is what actually is populated, so if I have put all my drill descriptions in and said, Ashley, you're running drill A, Mark, you're running drill B, Nicole, you know, you're doing the warm-up, that is auto-populated here in the practice notes. So, and then drill descriptions, I've never changed it from the default for use description in the add notes drill. And that does that populate there. Now if I click download, that gives me the PDF of this practice plan. And this is not a good, actually, I'll grab a different practice plan because,
So you can see more detail.
yeah. So this will actually be a good one. So we got a goalie mini camp coming up Sunday. If we do a print download on this one. So here's all my notes in here that kind of tells us how the practice is gonna go. And then as well as the drills. And we see this one's taking a little bit more to download because it's got a lot more information in it, so. But now, this is a much more complete, you know, practice plan, I guess, with a lot more documentation, and apparently some Russian, so I'll have to fix that before we get to the.
We just found our incel spy right here.
Sorry.
The sleeper cell has been
Yeah.
But, you know, and like I said,
bar.
risky, but like I said, play with it, and whatever view you prefer is what you can go with, so. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, I won't go over the folders yet, cause I don't know, and like, so the sharing stuff, there is team access, but I was not a fan of how that went.
Okay.
So I think sharing those links is probably what I would suggest.
One other thing, Russ, real quick, is
Yep.
there, from here, say you've got 2 or 3 additional coaches what you're working with,
Mhm.
are there, if you do share it through the site, like, do they have emails all listed on the site we can just pull from, or do we have to collect their emails and do it like a download?
Yeah, yeah, right now you would have to you would grab that link, right?
Yeah.
So if I wanna come in and share a practice plan with you guys, I have to go into, grab the link.
Yeah.
So I come to, do the minicamp again.
Yeah.
And then copy and share URL.
Yeah.
So now it's copied.
Yeah.
And then I still have to go into my email program
And do it that
and
way.
paste
through
that
your
link.
email.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
So there's no way to like, they don't have.
Yeah,
that.
and
Okay, makes sense.
And that is like, so that, I think that's what their goal is with team access,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't, it wasn't friendly, so.
Sure.
And then like, so I had added Rob Lindahl as, with team access, and then like, I couldn't even add him as a coach, and it wasn't.
Kind of goofy, okay, no problem.
So,
So basically, long story short, you gotta copy it, the
Yep.
URL of your practice to your email and email it out to your crew and your.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, either that, or you download that PDF and then send them the PDF, so, yep. And the benefit to PDF, I think, is that they can just hit print
Mhm.
and bring paper if they're a paper person, or.
Yep.
look
But
on
the
the
nice
phone.
thing about the email is that they'll be able to see the video.
The video, yep,
Okay,
yep, so if you do have a video that's critical, the link is the way to go,
perfect.
so. I think that's all I got.
That's awesome.
So, any other questions or anything?
No.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, good, so.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, the good people watching the video, like if you need help, so I know I am fairly versed in this, Rhonda Messerschmidt is fairly versed in it, and Brian Clark as well, so if you do have questions or you're stuck with something or anything, reach out. I'll put my contact up here quick. So that's my cell phone number, you can text or call, and I can get you in touch with Brian or Rhonda, or if you see them, any of us are more than willing to jump in and help. And then, the other beautiful thing I will, mention again is, so Troy Ward has texted me a few different times and just checked in again, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and he's like, hey, when are we gonna get going? So Troy's chomping at the bit to help us, so he would love to, like, if we create a practice plan, we can, do a Zoom meeting with him or call and even go over it on the phone. But he's like excited and wants to be part of that, so
That's awesome.
I would urge all of us to utilize
Maybe
him.
throw him on the email next to them.
Yeah, so, and then, so Troy and I did talk about coming in and doing, like a bi-weekly review, because I know in his, I think it was his 3rd session, he talked about, so we looked and like you've done 7 BO drills and only 1 FCNZ or, whatever it would be, so if, we'll look at those together and then, make recommendations like, hey, Troy thinks, maybe we should mix in some, whatever. And it's not a, hey, you have to do this. You may be like, well, we're not even getting this, right? The players aren't getting this, we're at this, that's perfect. I'm here, then maybe that's then when we can bring in Bob, Terry, or Wurtzy, or you can call Troy directly and be like, Troy, kids aren't getting this, like I'm talking about it this way, and, I'm guessing between those 4, we'll be able to get an answer, so, everything that I learned, like the basic stuff from Terry, came from Troy, and like, playing in the middle of the ice, protecting the house, getting in our house, and like back checking through the center of the ice, like implementing like those 4 small things, like you could see a noticeable increase when 2 years ago with that split C team, so. Just getting the small things that they know and using them is gonna be good, so.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Well,
I'm sorry
yeah,
to have
thanks
to
for
run.
coming out on Friday, guys.
Yeah, no,
So,
thank you.
appreciate it, and, hopefully we can
Thanks for
do the legwork right now, and then,
making it easy
yeah.
transition.
Start some reusing next year and the year after and the year after.
Well, and I
so.
think, I mean, you know, I'm expected to be at the mite level, so I am gonna be rotating through all this stuff rather than
Yep,
recreating the wheel every
Right.
week, so
yep,
this just
Yeah.
makes it, if you can get rid of that stress and focus on the practice, that's awesome.
yep, absolutely. So, well, have a great rest of
Thank
the
you.
weekend. If I don't
Appreciate
see
it.
you up here at the rink,
Sounds good.
if I do, we'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see ya.
Can I get you for a couple
Do
questions?
you
when
need
you
help
decide?
moving this?
Yep.
Okay.